on my side when it comes to the internet connection, so that would explain the issue. Hopefully you hear me now. Okay, so it seems that you hear me and you see my screen as well. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, when we do a short trading session and then we have technical problems, obviously it's not ideal for anyone. Yep, I appreciate your patience there, guys. Yeah, it seems that everybody's reconnecting little by little. Yeah, so in a minute everybody will be back to be connected. Okay, so I'm sure that our colleague traders here are refreshing their screens and everybody will be with us in a minute, okay? But basically what I was saying here, I'm not sure if you were able to see it or not, so let me show you again. So what I was saying is that by looking at the 60-minute time frame of the S&P, the target to be set on this short trade would be 2934.75. That would be the right place where to set the target. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to the 15-minute time frame for the S&P because that's the time frame that we need to identify our trend condition. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it here as we always leave it. Okay, and now this would be time to replan on a new trade with the S&P. I mean, the bad news is that we got a technical problem. The good news is that we are now 10 seconds away from a new market close on the 15-minute time frame. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. We just had a new market close. We are still in a market condition where the trend is down and the trend is strong to the downside. So we are still looking for those trades, in this case around 2940.5, 41. So basically we have those two red UFOs overlapping each other, where those could qualify very well for a trade. Also, talking about stops, 42 would be the location for the stop, which also coincides with 42. So we're gonna have to place a stop right above those UFOs. We'll have our stops located at 42.5. Okay, so let's enter the trade. Okay, we're gonna be entering with 2 contracts in our case. Of course, in your case, you will decide how many contracts you want. The average is like 40. So I'm just gonna use the inner circle of this UFO because entering at the bottom part is just maybe a little too low. So I'm gonna use the middle point of this UFO for entry, which is 39.75. Okay, so just to not to miss the trade. So 39.75 is here, and I'm just gonna click sell to enter my order. Okay, with 2 contracts. Okay, so here's the order with 2 contracts. So first thing, stop located at 42.25. Notice how the stop is above this UFO and also above that UFO. So we have the trade in. And my target is going to be located at 37.25, which is 1-to-1. That's my safety target. Okay, so I have this in the right location. The only thing I need to adjust is my final target, which needs to be 29.34, which I actually have it right there already. That's amazing. It's just a matter of a very interesting coincidence today where, you know, I didn't have to adjust anything. And I have my entry, stop, target 1, target 2, absolutely perfectly located in the right location. Okay, so I got my trade set up here for the S&P. Okay, I have my trade set up here for the S&P. Okay, so take a look at the NASDAQ. Okay, I'll just give you like 5 seconds in case you want to take a screenshot so you can replicate this for yourself. Let me move the matrix. Well, actually, we see everything on the matrix like that, so it's all good. So screenshot time. 5 seconds for the screenshot, and then I'll move into the NASDAQ and take a look at the trade on the NASDAQ. Very good, Bojan. You got filled and you reached safety target. Good job, my friend. I'm happy that at least some of you were able to take advantage of the concept and the trade because we kind of had it in front of us, and because of my little internet slowdown or whatever that was, I was not able to put it in place for you guys. So glad to see that at least some of you were able. Okay. Yeah, London Trader, reward versus reward ratio. It's actually a very good point that you bring to the equation, to the table. This should certainly be part of your equation when taking a decision about am I going to take the trade or not. And we haven't addressed this properly yet, and we will when we talk about risk management. Okay, and because there are certain rules that may force you to take the trade in a particular way or not. Just like I haven't discussed yet in this group, I haven't discussed anything about size. Okay, I am just taking all the trades with 2 contracts, and that's it. Okay, but I haven't discussed how many contracts should you trade for yourself, etc., which is risk management rules. Okay, so we will certainly talk about that at some point, but at the moment I'm just taking the trade. Okay, and by the way, if your trades are successful enough, taking trades with a lesser reward to risk ratio, it's not going to be that big as a problem. Okay, what you don't want to fall into, and I'm not saying this is what is happening to you, London Trader, but what you don't want to fall into is to be so perfectionist that you only go for trades that are, let's say, you only shoot when the trades are 3-1 or 5-1 or 10-1, and that's the only time when you trade, and that would be a little bit, how do I put it? In one hand, very disciplined and very demanding, which is good. In the other hand, a little too close to utopia, given the fact that there are so many market participants that finding trades where every single parameter is going to be impeccable when it comes to profit and reward, that would be hoping a little too much for the trades. Okay, so as traders, we need to be open to manage our risk, but we also need to be open to take risk, meaning that if the trade is 2-1, 1.5-1, but you know your methodology makes you profit enough, it's actually okay to take the trade. And it would also bring a very good psychological side effect, which is the fact that now as you keep pricing yourself for profits, even though they're not the biggest in the world, but they're good profits, so then you keep building your confidence to take the next trade. Where if you were not to take the trade and you keep seeing trades work, but you didn't take them because they were not 3-1 or things like that, then what you're building is confidence. It's frustration and lack of confidence, and that would end up having you trade maybe in revenge mode and things like that, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so the balance, we'll talk about this when we talk about risk management. Okay, but you know these classical rules that you find when you download a PDF from the internet, you buy a book on a bookstore, and everybody talks about 3-1s and things like that. It's very, 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 how do I put it? Very, very correct in the theory world, but in the real world of trading, sometimes it doesn't exist. And therefore, again, we'll talk about it, okay? Anyway, Lina, hi, this is my first class here with you. Where can I get a background on UFO for future reference? Yes, Lina, good question. So super quick, if you get into our YouTube channel, okay, so youtube.com/c/trade-with-UFOs. Okay, there are playlists, okay, where you can click on the playlist, okay, and the moment you click on the playlist, you have those videos sorted in a pretty convenient fashion. Okay, so first, the 2 on the top are for you to know more about the app running with TradeStation or running with TradingView. Okay, so watch those 2 videos just so you know what the app does. And once you know what the app does, okay, then you have a collection of sharpening sessions. Sharpening. Those sharpening sessions is when we spend time talking about how to use, what are the rules, etc. And then we have the trading days, like today, short term, where we trade together, even though today with the technology problems, I'm not being too active, unfortunately. Okay, but so basically, watch the sharpening sessions and watch the 2 sessions on the top, so then we can speak the same language, and then you can take full advantage of the sessions when we are together. Okay, by the way, since I'm here, as always, please go ahead and click subscribe if you're not subscribed, and most importantly, click on the bell so that way you receive real-time notifications when videos are posted. Okay, so that way we are well connected. Anyway, let's keep going. So let me see if we can get filled on this trade, or if we can get filled on this trade, or we can find another trade. Okay, so yeah, so it seems that price started going up, then created a new UFO. You know, when you see this happening, just sharing a little thoughts behind the scenes here. So when you see these things happening, you may be feeling, oh my God, I may miss the trade now. Relax. Everybody cools down. No need, patient space, right? So this is not the last trade of your whole trading life. This is only one trade in your trading life. So it doesn't mean you miss the trade. What it means is that 15 minutes from now, actually 7 minutes from now, we will have a new close. If it's below the average, this average will drop down. And if the average drops down, now the average may line up with this UFO. So what you will do is that you will take your entry, which is currently located at 39.75, and the entry would be repositioned to where the new UFO is. You cannot do it before those 15 minutes, before the new close, because then you would be breaking the rules. So that's why I said, everybody relaxes, we wait. Is that making sense? Never chase, never improvise, just follow the rules. NQ. Yeah, Devan, I'm not looking at the 60 minutes now, and because of the lack of time, if that's okay, I'll stick with the 15. Yeah, 60 minutes is for the final target, Babu. Okay, 60 minutes is for the final target, and the safety target is calculated mathematically. Okay, it's calculated mathematically as a 1-to-1, just for safety purposes. Okay. Good. Next one, NASDAQ. Let's see what's happening with the NASDAQ. Well, with the NASDAQ, we have a different environment. Okay, let's see. The prior close was what? Above or below? Let's see the prior close. So the prior close was 0.1.5 and the average was 96. Yeah, so the prior close on the NASDAQ was above. So we are in an uptrend on the NASDAQ. Okay, we are on an uptrend in the NASDAQ. Therefore, it's time to go long. Now, the issue with the NASDAQ to go long is that the trend is a weak trend. Okay, it's a weak trend. So if you were to go long the NASDAQ, at least for now, maybe next candle will change, but at least for now, even though you have an uptrend environment, the uptrend is weak. Therefore, when setting targets, you will need to look for those targets in the 15-minute time frame, and therefore the upper target for the NASDAQ would be located at 48.5, 48.5. Okay, still pretty far away. Okay, but you will not be using the 60-minute time frame in this case, but the 15. Okay, because of what I just said about the trend being weak instead of the trend being strong. And why is the trend weak? Because you have a contradiction. If you compare what the average tells you and what the DMI tells you, the DMI tells you red, the average tells you green. So therefore, we have this contradiction. And since we have a contradiction, then we call the trend weak. Okay, so we are willing to take profit sooner. So the targets are set in the lower time frame, in this case, the 15, the lower common time frame, which is the 15. So let me see. 4 minutes from now, we'll have an update on what's going to happen because this average is being challenged. We see this enough. We see this often, I meant. Sometimes you'll see the S&P and the NASDAQ both uptrending, both downtrending, but sometimes when prices get close to the average, we'll see a little bit of a challenge where one market is above, the other market is below. When this happens, just follow the rules. Okay, don't try to predict. Don't try to predict, oh my God, who's going to win, the NASDAQ, the S&P, what's going to happen next? We don't need to know what's going to happen next. We are traders, market analysts are in the process or the business of having predictions. But traders, we're in the business of managing risk, okay? Risk and probability. So we just follow rules. We don't need to know what's going to happen next. And if you're wrong, you take a small loss. If you profit, you'll profit a bit more. That's it, okay? So just follow the rules when you see those contradictions. Okay, so the S&P looking like it's going to close below in the next candle. The NASDAQ, we don't know. It's very, very close to the average, challenging the average. Current price is 97. The average is 96.84. So really, really, really challenging the average. So we'll see that in just 3 minutes, okay, when the candle below closes. So in the meantime, I would like to re-up back to my UFO EMA. Royce, if you got a freeze on TradeStation, you should reduce the amount of candles per chart. Okay, and this should work. This should work for you. Okay. So next one, Australian dollar, US dollar. Okay, I'm looking at the majors. So what do we have? We have a close. Below the average, strong downtrend. Price came into the UFO. Okay, so we are a little late here. Okay, again, this trade could have been used if we had planned this trade, 20 minutes ago. This could have been an entry. Unfortunately, we are late to the party, so I will go for the next one. Next one, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Let me see if the Kiwi is giving us any chance for us to plan on a trade. Okay, so the Kiwi had a close 66.67, average is 66.70. So the prior close was below. In other words, we were in a downtrend, and we will know in 1 minute this market is about to become uptrend. Okay, so I'll come back in 1 minute because it seems that we do have a UFO here that we could rely on to catch a potential new uptrend that will develop on the Kiwi. Okay, so we're gonna finish the session with just a few minutes of delay, guys. Just letting you know, in case you could stay with us, that would be great. If you have to go, it's understood. But we're gonna end the session with a few minutes of delay because I would like to revisit those trades with the S&P, the Nasdaq, and also the Kiwi to see if I can give you some additional trade that at least if we cannot execute it together, at least give you the instructions for you to execute it on your own. Okay. Yes, wrong. Not only per workspace, per chart. Okay, every single chart. Yeah. So anyway, good. So we have a new close. Okay, we have a new close. The new value for the average is 39.72, which is let's call it 40. Of course, if this market goes back up, the average will move up slightly, and therefore that value of 39 something will become probably like 40 something. So probably the average will be around this point, okay, like 40 something when we get to the UFO. Okay, our entry on the S&P is just a little below, which is just below the average. Is not super ideal, but if we don't do that, you also risk missing on the trade because it comes very close to the average, then drops, and then you never got into the trade. So that's, I feel comfortable leaving the entry at 39.75. We are just risking a couple of ticks more, entering where the inner circle is, which is the greatest pile of orders, and I think it's all good. Yeah, so we're just gonna leave it the way it is. The trade with the S&P is still valid. So let's take a look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq was very challenging a few minutes ago, where it looked like the Nasdaq was going to become an uptrend, but then was challenging to become a downtrend again. So let's see what happened. So I'm just moving to my Nasdaq workspace. Assuming that TradeStation will react to me. Hopefully I'm not having the same problems as before. Yeah, so what do we have? So the prior close, okay, TradeStation. Okay, right here. Okay, interesting. It's not moving my price box to the left. Okay, I'm just looking at what's going on my computer, and okay. Yeah, funnily enough, TradeStation is using like 1 point something percent, 1.3% of my CPU. which is nothing. So which means that I'm having some other strange issue on my side where my computer is not fully reacting to me, guys. So just bear with me, please, guys, because again, I'm going to be a little stubborn here in the sense that I want to send you home with some more trade, okay? Yes, Andrea, thank you so much. You are confirming to us that it's a downtrend, meaning the close is below. Bojan, T1, so move stop to entry at 29.39. Okay, hear you, my friend. Good job. Congrats. Okay, so I'm just closing this workspace to see if this alleviates, even though my TradeStation is not using much. Okay, so back to the Nasdaq. Let me see. Okay, guys, I hate to do it, but I'm just gonna reset my TradeStation one more time. Again, guys, if you have to go, I totally understand. It was actually meeting entry, and I would like to plan this so you can execute it yourself if you choose to, and that way you can also practice the methodology as I give you a few extra instructions. Okay, so restarting. Yeah, I hear you, Len. Really, I'm looking at my parameters on my computer when it comes to use of the CPU, and everything is absolutely fine. So I am thinking that what's happening today, for whatever reason, is that my internet connection is not the best. And when that's the case, I may need to go and reboot my router or something like that. I just don't want to do it while during the session because I'm going to disconnect everybody if I do that. And you know, when what happens is that when your internet connection creates a little too much latency, then TradeStation gets the data with a little delay into the cache folder, and then there is always like a queue of stuff that needs to be reprocessed, and the end result of that is kind of like a slowdown effect. And so by rebooting TradeStation, basically what I'm doing is giving TradeStation the opportunity to restart with a fresh queue. And normally this helps. That's why I'm doing it. The real solution would be means that we may catch a small bounce, but we are not going to catch the lasting trend, which is what we are trying to do. Okay. So what about the S&P? Are we coming closer to the entry because the S&P is still in a downtrend? Yeah, we are coming closer to the entry. We're still far away. We're 2 points away from the entry. So anyway, S&P trade is still valid. Okay. And now before we go. So I'm just going to look at the trade with the Kiwi. I also want to review the Euro trade. Remember that UFO that was not fully lining up with the average, but now we had a close, isn't it? Because we hit 10 a.m. Eastern time, and because with Forex we're using the 60-minute time frame as a common time frame. So I would like to do that, okay? I would like to look at the Euro as well. Okay, so we are going to be looking at UFO EMA Lab. Mark, my ES DMI numbers are way different than yours. Jose, what could I have done wrong? Well, it has to be either the settings or the time frame. Okay, I'm using 15 time frame, so make sure you are doing that. Oh, okay, got it. I hear you next, Mark. Babu, Jose, how do you predict within how many minutes a candle closes? Well, it's very simple. It's a time frame based on time. So I'm looking at my clock. So if it's a 15-minute time frame, every time the clock clicks 15, you will have a new candle form, right? So that's how I know the amount of time I have to wait. So Euro, what do we have here? The new, here we go. We have it. That's exactly what I was looking for. We have it. So the new average is now pointing at 11 after the new candle close. Okay, so now the average is pointing at 11. Of course, when the price goes down, it's going to go down by a little bit. Okay, but what happens? Well, now we have this UFO here, okay, where this UFO is now pointing at 0907, right? And again, if this average of 11 goes down by a little bit, it may hit 10 or 9, right? Something like that. Actually, the top part of the UFO band is 12.10.5. Okay, so basically we do have this UFO lining up properly with the average. Okay, so we have a trade with the euro. Okay, so I'm gonna plan on the target first. So remember, second step is the target. Because the trend is strong, I will not use the 60. Okay, I will use the 240. Okay, so 200-minute time frame for target purposes with the euro. Okay, because the trend is strong. So activating AutoUFOs, and this tells me that my target should be 112.41. Okay, that's what my target should be. Okay, 112.41. So let's disable AutoUFOs, change the time frame to 60. That's what we need. We now know that the target for the euro is going to be 112.41. The entry is going to be here. Okay, but remember, we are talking about currencies. Okay, and when we buy from the ask. So I'm going to change the symbol to euro EURUSD.A, okay, to identify my UFO, which it doesn't show up here on that particular time frame. Okay, because of the differences between the bid and the ask chart. So I'm going to go back to this one, and when I need to pick, okay, it's the top candle that represents the top part of my UFO band is that candle. That candle was created at 644 for 430. So I need to keep in mind 644. I'm going to go back to the .A time frame. Okay, and by looking at 644, here we go. I'm going to pick the top, the high, which is 112.12. You guys see that? 112.12. So that's going to be my entry for this particular trade. Okay, and again, I don't have time to explain it, but I did explain it before. Why I switched to the .A symbol is because it's spot Forex. Okay, so we're going to be planning on, let me make some room. We're going to be planning on a trade where the target for this trade will be located somewhere around, so final target, it's going to be 112.41. Then somewhere in the middle we'll have a safety target. Okay, then we're going to have the entry, which we just said the entry is going to be, is a long entry. Okay, and this long entry is going to be located at 112.12. Okay, and then we're going to need to use a protective stop, okay, to protect the trade, and this will need to be located at, changing colors, so the bottom part of this green box is 112.07. Okay, 112.07. So we're gonna make it a few pips lower than that. Okay, so we're gonna go for 112 instead of 07. Okay, we're gonna go back down by 3. So we'll make it 04. Okay, in other words, from 4 to 12, we are risking 8 pips. Therefore, our safety target will be 8 pips above 112.12, which is 112.20. That's our safety target, okay, while our final target would be 12.41. Okay, so if you want to take a screenshot, this is a value trade, which is actually looking quite good. And uptrend, strong, UFO, lining up with the average, potential for more on-field orders apart from the current on-field orders, safety target, easily achievable before the red UFO, and then final target a little higher. Okay, that's the trade. You guys got filled on the S&P. Okay, let me take a look at that. Here we go. Very nice. So you got filled on the S&P, and since you got filled, the trade already went all the way to target 1. Very good. Good job. Okay. And by the way, since you got filled, new UFOs have porn, isn't it? So we should be moving our stop to 2938.5. 2938.5. That's where the stop should be, which is, oh, I didn't do my math correctly. Let me move it quickly before I get stopped out. Here we go, right above that UFO. Okay, it's 2939. Sorry for that, I didn't say it right. So that's where the stop should be, which is right above the new UFO that formed in the H time frame. Okay, so good job, guys. If you guys took the trade, Andrea, it seems that you missed it. Remember on live, it's first in, first out. Okay, on live is first in, first out. So sometimes that may happen. That was a little bit of my concern, to be honest, when I placed that entry exactly where the biggest stack of orders is, right? Remember the inner circle? By the way, I did talk about that on Sunday, okay? So if you want to be a little more sure that you're not going to miss the fill, you can always go one tick less than that, okay? Just to make sure you get filled. But anyway, so good one, guys. Okay, I missed all this process happening since I was planning the trade on the euro. But this trade is working well, so good job, everybody, guys. Okay, at least I'm happy that in this case, being a little stubborn worked well, in the sense of I said I'm not leaving this room until I give you another trade. Team trader, Jose, just want to confirm: are you looking for the values of the inner circle or the bottom values? Normally the bottom values, Tim, but the reason why I went for the inner circle is because, oh, by the way, new UFO. So we are going now for 38, okay? 38, it's where the stop is going now. Okay, so moving to 38. That's where the stop is now, okay? Yes, so back to you, my friend. I did talk about this on Sunday, where sometimes what happens is that you have multiple UFOs overlapping each other, such as currently, right? Those two UFOs on the right, okay? So let's pretend I had to take a trade, and maybe the whole thing is having me take too much risk, or let's say that the average is somewhere in between, and I don't want to miss the trade, okay? But at the same time, if I was to go a little too high and only focus on the upper UFO, maybe you miss the trade. If I go all the way to the bottom UFO, then I take a little too much risk, because the two UFOs overlapping each other create a very wide zone. So I said on Sunday that's when it makes sense to go for the inner circle, because you have a more precise entry point while you reduce the risk. I also said, unfortunately, that the risk of doing that is that sometimes, okay, you will miss the trade just by a little bit, okay? Just by a little bit, one tick or so, you miss the trade, and that's it. We just got a hit on this trailing stop effect, which means that we ended up with this trade, hitting safety target, and then we made a little bit of an extra profit here, okay? Good. Good one. Good one. Jose, I still have to finish the sharpening session 3 and 4, but I would have been following the rules if I were to retake a trade at that price. But would I have been following the rules? Yes, you would have. Yes, you would have. Yeah, actually, if I'm not mistaken, Bojan, when I planned the trade myself, it was after having the problem I had with my slow computer at the beginning, where I believe you executed the trade, I was not able to, and then I planned it after you, right? So, yeah, so no problem. Good. So anyway, so I'm not sure if you guys got the time to take a screenshot of the euro, but that would be the plan. And with this, I think that we're going to conclude the day. We had a trade on the S&P, I believe a missed trade with the Nasdaq at the beginning. That would have been a loss, by the way. Okay, and then this trade with the euro that hasn't happened yet, that you could certainly execute. Paper money, real money, how many contracts, how many lots, of course, you get to decide that, or not executing it at all, of course, but obviously for you to practice and internalize the methodology, obviously practice helps, okay? Practice makes perfect, as is commonly said, okay? Yes, thank you everybody, guys, for joining me. One last thing before we go. If you enjoyed the session today, please click on the thumbs up. Okay, so that way we can measure. If you didn't like it, please click on the thumb down, so we can also measure that. And this applies for you guys if you watch this live, and also you guys if you watch this recorded. Okay, so we can measure a little bit, if we're helping you, or you guys are happy with what we do. Anyway, you guys take care. see you soon. Actually, soon is going to be very soon, is tomorrow. Normally we do Tuesdays and Thursdays, isn't it? Guess what? This week we are not doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. We are doing Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, so see you tomorrow, May 1st. Okay, we're going to be talking about longer term trading. Yeah, so we'll just plan the trades and be ready to shoot. Okay, see you then, everybody. Super pleasure to be here, and again, real pleasure. This teamwork, you guys taking the trades, commenting and answering each other questions. I so love it, guys. So love it, love it, love it. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.